all set to go, starting on the baby. Now, made a little start here. So to start with, I just put a 4H all over the baby's face, very, very gently, absolutely gently, hardly touching the paper, but I've made sure it's good coverage. I've got where is it? My 4H blender. See, I've got it written on there, just like that. Cleaned it off first, make sure there's nothing on it, and just blended it over very, very gently, just like that really, hardly anything. Make sure it's properly covered over though, just nice and thoroughly. Then I'm going to get in all of her features now. So when I feel happy that all of her features are in the right place, then I'll start blending on her face. I know I've told you don't do lines on an eyebrow, but the baby's eyebrows are hardly there. I just want to make sure that I get the measuring right from here to where they start. So I've just put in a line at the right angle, I hope, and then that where it dips down there, I measured that on the side of her eye like that. So as soon as you've got something on, you can start measuring from there. Any lines that you've got on, you can start measuring the rest of the baby's features from. And because we've got these guideline marks from our tracing on, it makes things a lot quicker to do. So there's a bit of shaping coming around here, and from what I can see, it's kind of looking like it's the eyebrows coming across here. Just making sure that this area here looks the same as the shading there. I'm just going to flatten my rubber. If you flatten the rubber, and I don't know if you could, you just rub it on the paper like that, straight on like that, it will flatten it and it will give you a bit better. I'll give you a little line so you can get a line mark in, so it's quite flat. See, I'll use that line, just push the rubber out a bit, but there's actually two lines here. She's got eyes like her mum. Her mum has exactly the same thing. So you've got her eye line. Now I'm using the F pencil to get the details in, to get the features in. Her mum's got exactly the same line. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, but there it is. Very, very close to her actual eye line. Now, there's a little kind of straight there, and then it's kind of coming down like that. Now these angles here, they have to be totally accurate. They can't be wrong. It just changes the whole of a person's expression. If that line there coming out from the eye is wrong, the eye will never look right. Okay, so it's coming down a little bit, and then we've got a bit of shaping under here. It comes under there. Bit of shading, sorry. And that ends about here, middle of her eye. I've put the circle there in F, and that will be filled up with the black charcoal because one of her pupils look really dark. I think with a baby there's probably the temptation, this needs to be rounded, a bit more rounded. There's the temptation to be too, well, you've got to be light putting these features on, but once you've got them in the right place, you've got to be decisive with your marks. They've really got to stand out. Baby's eyes are so important. Well, they're important on everyone, of course. And what we can do is, if the shape isn't quite right, we can just take off the outside bits with the rubber, especially now it's been sharpened flat top. And now I'm looking at this line on the baby's eye. I'm looking at this here. That's got to be coming up more. It needs to come up. So just very gently. That's it. And this needs to come in a bit, touch more. And then her iris is kind of very close to that bit of shading there. See, that's what I'm doing all the time, is I'm in relation to what we've already got, I'm looking at that. It's a little bit rounded there. Just take that off. It's not so round. It's more straight. But yeah, this is how precise you have to be. It's okay, you know, I find this quite fun actually. I find this incredibly therapeutic. That's going to be quite dark in there. I just find this very relaxing. Okay, now we know we don't need to measure from here to here because we've already traced it on and been quite careful about all that. So I'm just going to carry straight on. We've got a tiny little straight line there. It's coming it's tiny, and then it's coming across. We've got a line there. I'll just go up on that because it looks right. Looks absolutely okay. And then again we've got straight, top of her eye straight. I think she's got her dad's eyes, dad's eyebrows. At the moment anyway. Babies change quite rapidly, don't they? And then go around like that. Now, if you want to check anything anytime, you can just look at your tracing and you can just exactly remind yourself where you put your marks. See? I can see that where I put my mark, I'm turning it to light so it shines. I don't know if you can see that, but when you turn it like that, you can see all the shiny graphite. And I can see that I put that just on that line, exactly there. And yet this line here has got a bit more shadow that needs to be added. When I look at her eye there, yes, I can see the shadow, but it's not that dark. So it could be that we need to move that a bit over, but we'll just draw our eyes in and see how that goes. So what I've done is I've literally gone down, and that line is going straight down there. And because of that, I'm looking at this now and I'm just thinking, oh, is that looking right at all? It's probably going to be more like that. Yeah, it's more like that. Probably not that long. And I think we'll take a bit of that off for now. As you've seen, you change things around a lot when you're doing a portrait. Things change. That needs to be lower. That's it. Okay, now we're just getting in a main line. I can just about see it here. It's incredibly faint. I can just about see it. So I'm looking very carefully at this. Then it goes up slightly. So I'm just using what we got on here as a guide really. Now I can see immediately that isn't wide enough. that area there is not wide enough. It looks okay on this eye, but this is not. So we need to do something about that. I'll put her eye in, I'll put her iris in. That's coming just like that. And that's coming down a bit more. Okay, we'll put our eye right on the line. This is very, very close. Okay, so we've got a dark bit in there. Not much at all. Straighter. And that's very, very close. I'm imagining that I'm drawing a circle when I'm doing this, but you're only seeing a little tiny part of her eye. Now what I'm looking at now is that eye smaller than that one? This is wider, this is not so wide. So that means, and I'm looking at her other eye now, yes, it's quite right. That could go over there a bit. I'm just checking this all the time, you see. Yeah, that's about the right kind of gap there now. I can see that. I think that one's okay, that side. Okay, so just to really get a feel for the eye size, I'm just going to take this out for a bit. Just touching it, not rubbing up the paper or anything. Just touching that, it just lifts it off. Rubbers just lift it off. It's like a magnet really, in a way. Okay, this is looking better in that area there. This is looking a bit big. This is looking wrong. A bit too wide. So I'm going to take off this line here, which I put on first. And this didn't look wide enough. Taking that off now. What I try and do is, rather than measure all the time, I try and do it by eye. But so yeah, that is bigger. So, have we got this length here right? I'm going to measure again, make sure. Just going to look at that. It could be a little tiny bit there, but it's really not much at all. It's just a smidgen really. I'll put it in. But that can make all the difference. That looks better already to me. But this eye's too big. This is looking okay in her eye. Yeah, I know what's happening there. What's happening here is this dark bit here is too deep. Just take it down here a bit. That's it. And just brush that off.